Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Melissa and this is Melissa Knits for Fun. Well, today we've got a little bit of a bonus episode, and I will tell you, buckle up guys, because I got to thinking, I've been seeing in my feed, in my YouTube feed, lots of people are reviewing summer knits because we are going into the summer season here. And so lots of people are talking about summer knits. So I decided that's a really good idea because I have some thoughts about some of my summer patterns. Some of them have become absolute staples in my wardrobe, and I look forward to every summer being able to put them on and wear them again. Sometimes I even wear them in the winter and put a cardigan on over top. I love them so much. Others might have learned a few lessons the hard way. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share all of my summer knits. And let me tell you, there's a lot more of them than I thought there were. And I will let you know what I thought about the pattern, what I thought about the yarn, what I would do different if I knitted them again, if anything, and if I would ever knit them again. Sometimes the answer may be no, just because I'm not a duplicate knitter for the most part. I don't repeat knit a lot of things. Sometimes the answer is absolutely not, because the pattern just stressed me out. Not too many of those. In fact, there's one in here that might have been an absolute no because the pattern stressed me out, except for it's so beautiful that it was worth being on the struggle bus. So stay tuned to find out which one that one is. I really can speak today. All right, guys, so I did bring a few notes because a few of them I couldn't either remember the name of it or I couldn't remember the designer's name, and I wanted to make sure I got everything right. I will put the information up here about the pattern, the designer, and the yarn. I'm not going to cover the color name or anything like that because some of them I just don't know anymore and I don't have any left. So with that, in no particular order, I will review my summer knits. This first one is one that I have completed recently, and this is the Ewa by Moonstruck Knits or Natasha Hornsby. I plan to knit this one again. This is an extremely fast knit. I'm not going to go in extreme detail about each one of these for a couple of reasons, because number one, we'd be here all day. I have a whole stack. And also because I've covered these in other episodes, either as a what I'm wearing segment or as a finished object segment. So what I will do is I will tell you this was a very enjoyable knit. It was very fast. I think it is absolutely beautiful. It is stunning. It's not become a staple yet because I just completed it in April. So I haven't had a chance to wear it too many times yet, but I can foresee this becoming a staple, and I am going to knit a long sleeved version of this for a transitional piece for spring and fall. And I did knit this out of Drops Bell, and I plan on using that yarn a second time. What I would change and what I plan to change for the next one, aside from adding sleeves, which this version has both a sleeveless and a short sleeved, or not short sleeve, 3/4 inch option, but you can adjust sleeves however you want them to be, short sleeve, long sleeve, just by adding or subtracting rows. But what I will do is I am going to add at least one more of these eyelet sections, possibly two, because it is not as long as I would want a transitional piece that's more of a sweater. So I will be adding some length to this. But other than that, I wouldn't change anything. All right. And that yarn is a great summer yarn. So no regrets about that either. Unlike this next one. This is the Field Sweater by Camilla Vod. I probably pronounced her last name wrong. But this is an absolute stunning pattern. I saw this and was immediately, oh my gosh, I must knit that. Now it does come in a version with long sleeves. So again, you can modify sleeves to be whatever you want them to be. I chose to knit the Tee version, and I will tell you there are quite a few things that I would change about this, not about the pattern. I thought the pattern was fine. I do hear people complain about these little seed stitches or whatever they're called. They weren't the most enjoyable things in the world to knit, but they weren't really that bad. Excuse me. If I sat down and tried to knit the entire yoke in one sitting, yes, I think it would hurt my hands, but I didn't do that. I broke it up. So I didn't have any real problems. I think the fit is great. I will tell you though, I do tend to struggle. Even though holding this up, I can see there are some short rows because I can see how the front comes down a little bit. It still hits me at just a spot that makes me feel like I'm choking. So probably what I would do next time is I would make this just a little bit shorter on the collar, because like I said, I don't have a huge issue, but if something hits me right there where your Adam's apple is, it kind of makes me feel like I'm choking. So I like things to be either a little bit under or above. A folded collar doesn't do it as bad for me, but this one does, for whatever reason, make me feel a little bit like I'm choking, so I tend to pull on it. So I would make this just a hair shorter, and I would absolutely choose a different yarn. I made this before I truly understood the properties of yarns. I mean, I'm smart enough to know that wool is warm, but it just I didn't even think about maybe I shouldn't make a t-shirt to wear in the South in 100% wool. And this is 100% superwash merino. It is by Sugar Plum Circus, and it is a DK weight yarn. Sugar Plum Circus is a dyer out of New Orleans, and I did get this as a souvenir yarn on our New Orleans girls trip. I don't regret it. I'm certainly not going to rip this out and repurpose the yarn because I do really like this, but I can only wear it in early spring and late fall. It's just too warm the rest of the year. I get really hot wearing it, but it is stunning when I do wear it. I would knit this again. I might or might not knit it again, but if I ever do, I will make it out of a summer weight yarn. Maybe a drop spell or a Sandusgarn Lena, possibly a Hobie silk cotton or 100% cotton. Or I would knit it again and I would do it out of wool, but I would make it long sleeved. What I would not do is knit wool for the summer again. And you will see a trend with that. All right, next up, and this one I don't know the name of. I went and looked up, but I don't have a project page for this apparently. I will put the name and the designer. I know neither one of them. I'm so sorry. I will make sure that I put this up there, but I love this top. Now, there are several things that I would do differently. Number one, I would make this in a smaller size. It is actually a little bit too big for me. So I would try to make it in a smaller size, and then I would probably join this earlier, or I would do something to where that I knit it to where that it looked like this, but that it actually joined up here. I do not love having to wear something under this. I love a good V-neck, but I wish that that this just closed a little bit sooner so that I didn't have to wear anything under it. Having said that, it is an absolutely beautiful, delightful yarn, or delightful pattern. I probably won't ever knit it again because this is knit on a US size 2, and it took forever. And I do mean forever. I was knitting on this on my girls' trip, and I think I knitted on it for a couple of months after the girls' trip to New Orleans. But I really do like it. It was an easy pattern. It's just stockinette. You do knit back and forth. This whole top is back and forth until you get down here where you actually join it. And this looks a lot harder than it was. I was very worried about how I would get that joined. It worked up fine. This yarn is by Apothecary. I think that's the whole name, Apothecary or Apothecary. I'll put the name up there, but they are a local dyer here in Arkansas, in Harrison, Arkansas. And while it is better than the DK weight 100% superwash merino, it is still warm. So again, this is another one of those that I tend not to wear in the dead of summer. Now, because this is a fingering weight yarn, I can wear it later, like late spring going into early summer and early fall and late fall, instead of just you know, late fall and early spring. It's a beautiful pattern, but I don't know that I will ever knit it again. And it's not anything to do with the pattern. It's just, it is a lot of work. And there are so many modifications that I would like to do to it, but there are other patterns that I would rather knit. And what I may wind up doing, I may wind up going in and just sewing this shut. That is a modification I could make. And so give me some thoughts about that if you think that that would be something I should do. All right, now we're going to get on to one that I am going to show you, and I'm going to talk about them as a unit. My Tolsta Tees. I have 5 of them now. 5. I have one that is a fingering weight. This is made out of Holsgarn Coast. It too is a little bit too warm for the dead of summer, but I can wear it early summer, during the whole spring, the whole fall. Not late summer, not when it's so hot. And then I have the other 4 are all made out of Sandisgarn Lena, and I have one that was made, I modified with the needle sizes. I used a US 6 and a US 4 instead of a US 8 and a US 6. And so I made a larger size, and it fits closer, and you can see the fabric is much denser. Then I did one with bust darts, still in DK, and with the same US 6, US 4 modification. And then the first one that I did, that I had to rip out because I read it wrong, and I started with a US 4 and a US 6 instead of a 4 and a 6 millimeter, or 4 and a 5 millimeter. And so this is, I ripped it out and started it over, and this is made with a US 6 and a US 8. The modification that I would make with this is I would knit a smaller size. This is fairly big. I would also knit a smaller size in the fingering weight. It is too big, and I would also make it longer because I got impatient. So I would make a smaller size in this, and so I did make a smaller size in this. And this is the latest one that came off of the needles. And as you can see, I haven't cut all my ends and everything, but this is the latest one. I did make it a size smaller, and I do like that. It fits better. And so any other ones that I make, I will either make the size larger and use the smaller needles, or I will make this size but use the larger needles because this is a size smaller than what I knit last year. I obviously really, really love the Tolsta, and I actually have a 6th one going right now. And that is in fingering weight yarn. It is Bamboo Pop, and I am knitting it a size smaller than this one. This is probably by far the best fitting t-shirt that I have ever knitted. It fits wonderfully. It is a pattern that I will knit over and over again. It's one of those that I want in every single color. I cannot say enough good things about the pattern and about the fit of the finished object. The mistakes I made with it were absolutely mine. I knitted it too big, and I knitted it out of the wrong yarn. I love Holsgarn Coast, but it is 55% wool. It is just a little too warm for southern summers. So my plan is, once I get my fingering weight Tolsta off the needles, I will cast on another fingering weight, but I will do long sleeved, and I am going to do it out of Holsgarn Coast. The color is to be determined. I haven't decided yet, and as you can see, I have a plethora of choices behind me. So there will at least be 7 Tolstas in my life at some point. Possibly more, we shall see. The next one up is another test knit that I just completed. This is my latest one. This is off my needles as far as test knits go. The Tolsta is the latest one off of my needles as far as summer knits. This is wonderful. This design is beautiful, and I would absolutely knit this again. This is by the Knit Pearl Girl. The Tolsta Tee is by Rebecca Clow. I didn't say that. I think most people already know that, but it is by Rebecca Clow. This one's by the Knit Pearl Girl. It is a great, great pattern. I would absolutely knit this again, and I may knit this again in a different yarn. I may knit it out of what she recommends, which is the Essayer. She recommends holding the Trio 1 double, But other people do it with the Trio too, because it is kind of like tin Lena and Lena. It's the exact same composition. One is just a lace weight and one is a sport weight. So I will decide at the point that I decide to pick this up and knit it if I'm going to use Trio 1 or Trio 2. I like the yarn a lot. This is Noro Sonata. It is a cotton silk polyamide, I believe, blend. It is a little bit warm. I was not expecting it to be as warm as it is, so it will probably not be worn in the dead of summer. So I would change the yarn that I use just to make it more summer friendly to where I could get longer wear out of it. But the pattern itself was absolutely wonderful. And so far this yarn has not peeled very much. So a couple of the yarns in here, the Sugar Plum Circus, any of the superwash merinos are gonna peel, but over time they will peel less. Now, this next one. And not only is this a fabulous, fabulous design, and sorry it's all wrinkled because it's been just laying there. This is the Anker Tee by Petite Knit. This is one of my absolute favorite summer yarns. You can argue that Belle and Lena can be interchanged, and you know, they have a few different properties. There's pros and cons to both, but they're pretty interchangeable. But guys, tin Lena, you cannot beat it. This will be my third summer, I believe it is, wearing this. It is almost as soft as my cashmere at this point. Lena, tin Lena, and tick Lena are all a viscose, which is a man-made bamboo, or it's made from bamboo. Anyway, it's a bamboo. It is a viscose, linen, and cotton blend, and this, the more I wear it and the more I wash it, the softer and softer it gets. It is the thing that I want to put on and wear constantly. I am planning to knit another one of these, but it will be the, I think it's called the Anker Summer Tee. It is a DK weight, and I plan on using the Hobie cotton silk for it. But I do plan on knitting a lot more things in the tin Lena, because this is just one of the best summer yarns I have ever used. It keeps me cool. I can wear it in 100+ degree weather, and it is no worse than wearing a regular cotton t-shirt. So, absolutely love it. The pattern is wonderful. I had no problems with it. It is very easy to follow. If you do find Petite Knit pattern style confusing, this would probably be confusing. I find her pattern writing style very clear, so I've never run into a problem with any of her patterns, with the exception of I did accidentally read a pattern wrong and thought you were supposed to do 2 sections of short rows instead of just 1. It was a happy accident, and now I do that on every single Monday sweater I do. But this one I had no such problems, and I absolutely love this. I don't think there's any short rows in this. When I hold it, there's no short rows in this, but that's fine because I can just throw it on. It doesn't matter which one's the front, which one's the back. I don't know what else to say. This, along with the Tolsta Tee, are my 2 favorite tee patterns. They, hands down, they fit so well, and they are just lovely. Absolutely lovely. Now, another one that I love, both the design, well, I should say it's a trifecta. I love the design, I love the fit, and I love the yarn. And that is the Ophelia Tee, which is by Linnea Elizabeth Knits. And you can see the only little bit of interest actually in this everything's stockinette. This is just a stockinette raglan. It is a compound raglan, but it's got this beautiful lace pattern on the sleeve. Every time I wear this, I get compliments on it because there's just that little bit of interest right here. She does have a long sleeve shirt where the lace goes all the way down, and I may knit that eventually. I would knit this again, but I will be honest, this is one of those things, I'm not sure how many of these I need in my wardrobe. You can argue how many Tolsta Tees do I need in my wardrobe too, but I might knit, I may knit this again, but again, like I said, I'm just not a repeat knitter. So I don't knit a lot of repeats, and it takes a really, really special pattern to make me say, yes, I'm going to repeat knit. This one, I would repeat knit. I'm just not sure if I will, but I absolutely would. It was a wonderful pattern. It was a test knit. I didn't have any problems with it other than, if you go back and watch, I forget which episode it is, but this is on the cover. I talk about the knitting that broke me because this did really break me. I had an issue. It was a me issue, not a pattern issue. And I pitched a little fit and stomped on it and everything else. But hey, the yarn held up great. And this yarn is Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. People love it or hate it. I am in the camp of love it. It is one of my favorite summer yarns. I can wear it all year round. So, next up. This one is not a trifecta for me. This is, I love the design. I mean, look at this. This is the back. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It is the Emmanuel Tee by Johanna Girish, or Colibri by Johanna. Love the yarn. Love the yarn. This is Hobie Cotton Silk. Absolutely stunning yarn. I have several colors in my stash. I have plans for them, and I have plans to order some more in some different colors that I have found. The pattern. There are, and I do think, I want to say this because this is the one pattern that I will tell you I struggled with. I rode the struggle bus the entire time I was, well, not the entire time I was making this pattern, till I got down to about here. It was until I split for sleeves and I just went into stockinette. I was on the struggle bus. I think it is a translation issue. I believe that Johanna is German. I won't swear to that. But I do know that she is not American, and I do not believe that she is a native English speaker, meaning I don't think that English is her first language. All of that, I'm prefacing all of this with that because I really do think that there's a translation issue. I am not the only podcaster that talks about struggling for clarity in her patterns and it being hard to decipher what's being said and having a little bit of an issue. Having said that, her patterns are beautiful enough that I will happily struggle through knitting the patterns to get to the end result. And I am not strictly a product knitter. I am not strictly driven by the end product. I am also a process knitter. And if I am hating the knitting process, I will probably hibernate the pattern. These are an exception that really make me into a product knitter because her designs are so beautiful. I mean, look at this. Oh my gosh. Now, I would change something with this. I would knit a smaller size. And I am going to knit another one. I have another, I'm going to do it in the same yarn, and I have another color that I'm going to do it in. I don't remember which color I chose to do it in. I've got several. But I am going to knit another one of these, and I am going to knit it a size smaller than this one. And that is because I would have to wear a tank under it anyway, because I don't think I'd be comfortable walking around with no tank. Maybe I would. I don't know. I don't know because I have to wear a tank because this V-neck is low enough that if I don't, there'd be lots of cleavage. The girls would be coming out to play, and I don't want that to happen. So I do wear a tank under this, but it is kind of fun because this is a very neutral color. I can wear, I've worn purple, I've worn yellow, I've worn green, I can wear red, I can wear any color under this. So I just want to say this is the one and only that I would say that there were issues with the pattern as far as clarity, but the end result is worth struggling through it. So I will knit it again, even though I will. This time I shouldn't live on the struggle bus. I've already struggled and figured it out. But I know going forward when I'm knitting one of Johanna's patterns that there may be some struggle. But I'm prepared for it because I have the experience. So take that with a grain of salt. Take that however you wish. But go into it understanding. Go read any comments because there's usually some comments about the clarity. All right. This next one is called the V-Back Tee. And this is one I had to look up. It is by Jamie Hoffman. And it is called the V-back tee because this is supposed to be the front and this is the back. I wear it with the V in the front. Now, obviously, you can wear your clothes however you want to, and they do show wearing it both ways. Now, I love this pattern. This pattern is beautiful. A couple of things that I don't love about it, there needs to be some waist shaping. It is just too, it kind of flares out a little bit on the bottom for me. So if I ever knit this again, number one, I will knit it probably in a smaller size because this is another one that I think is too big. I will put some waist shaping in it if I do decide to knit this size. Another thing that I don't love, and this comes from it not being a raglan, is there's some weird fabric under here. I might try to put a little bit of raglans in here. I don't know that I would. I don't know that I'm A, good enough, and B, not. I'm probably too lazy to try to figure it out. But it is a beautiful pattern, and I had aspirations that I was going to knit all kinds of them because I bought the DK version. I bought I think there's a fingering weight version, and then there's a scrappy version. Anyway, I have 3 versions of this, and I bought all 3 of them. I do really, really like the design. I love a good V-neck. I've shared that multiple times. I love a good V-neck. Now, mistakes I made. This is made out of, it is Red Door. Hang on, because there's 2 red doors. This is Red Door Fibers with this is their logo. There are 2 red doors, which I think the other one's Red Door Studio. But this one, she has silk in every base that she does. And this was no exception. This was a tweed, and it has silk in it, and it is wool. Again, another wool item, another wool yarn I chose to knit a summer knit in. I wear it in spring. I wear it in fall. I do not wear it in the dead of summer. It is just entirely too hot. Maybe if I'm sitting around my house, I will put it on for meetings and stuff, but I do not keep it on at home all day long either because it's just simply too hot. And I do love the yarn. I really, really love the yarn. I've actually thought about frogging this because I have a whole nother skein of this. And I've actually thought about frogging it and trying to make a long sleeve something out of it. But that's just too much work. So I'm not going to do that. But I do really, really love the yarn. I just don't love the yarn for a summer yarn. I would knit this again. I don't know that I will ever knit it again, but I would. It was, you know, an easy design and a nice pattern. This one I have actually knit 3 times because this one, Michelle, Teresa, and I all have matching. And this is the Proserpina. It was through Expression Fiber Arts. I will put the name of the designer down here. And the yarn I used is also the recommended yarn. And it's their Camel Silk from Expression Fiber Arts. I had some problems with this pattern. I am not a loose knitter. I am a pretty tight knitter. So I knit the size that I always knit. And it was about 2 sizes too big. I did have to go down 2 sizes. I had to go down for everybody's. I mean, there was no way. And when I knit this, I was heavier, and I normally wore a 2XL. And I measured, and this was what it was supposed to be. And I wound up having to knit. I knit a large for myself, or I knit a medium. I don't remember. Anyway, I had to go down, way down. And so that really, really shocked me. I tend to think that was a pattern problem since I did use the recommended needles and I used the recommended yarn, and I am not a loose knitter. I'm a tight knitter. So if anything, it should have been a little small, and it just was not. It was huge. And I thought maybe I had just done something weird with mine, and so I started Michelle's and very quickly realized I was going to have to downsize hers as well because it was just too big. So I don't know what's going on with that. Obviously I would knit it again. I've knitted it 3 times, but I have no plans to knit it a 4th time. It's a beautiful, beautiful pattern, and I really like it, but one is all I need. Right? So I won't knit it again. But that's not because the pattern was bad. The pattern was fine, except for I think that it was graded totally wrong. I do. I really do. It was just way too big. So, and the yarn is fine. Surprisingly, I can wear this in the dead of summer. I don't know what it is about the camel silk. I don't know if camel's just not as hot. I wore it in Costa Rica, and Costa Rica is pretty humid and hot, and it was fine. Now, I could not wear it if I was out like really running errands, running all over the place. I would get hot. But for just, you know, going from the car to the next air-conditioned place, this is fine. And another superwash merino summer garment. Again, I did not learn. These are the ones that I learned my lesson the hard way. I am much, much better at choosing the right yarns. Like I said, I'm smart. I realize wool is warm, but when you're a new knitter or a new garment knitter, I wasn't a new knitter, but I was a new garment knitter. It just didn't dawn on me that this could maybe be really hot in the summer. I don't know why it didn't dawn on me. And I knew they made cotton, and cotton blend yarns, but I didn't have exposure to a lot of yarns. That was really when superwash merino was pretty much all I had. That's all I bought because that's all I knew. And so, again, beautiful, beautiful design. Absolutely stunning yarn. Like everything about it. Just cannot wear it in the middle of summer. I probably will not knit this again, but that is not because of anything bad with the pattern or anything else. This is the Celosias, and I'll put that down here. It's by Jennifer Steingass. And the reason I say I probably won't knit this again is I have a bunch of her patterns that I want to knit, and I would rather spend that knitting time making a new design of hers than repeating an old one, just because I can't wear this in the middle of summer. And it is absolutely stunning. This is a superwash merino. It's Friendly Products Variations DK. A DK superwash merino for the summer. Again, a little too warm, but it is an absolute beautiful design. And I think if it was made out of cotton, that it would be fine. I also think if I modified it and made it long sleeved, that I would wear it constantly, because this is just one of my favorite color combos. I love this, and I really do like the yarn. I really like it. It's a beautiful, beautiful yarn. So if this were long sleeved, I would wear it all the time. As it is, I do wear it spring and fall. Sometimes in the winter whenever it's not super cold. Now another one, and then my defense, I'm going to defend myself on this one. This is a Noro yarn, and it is a wool. It is a Kari. I don't remember the exact makeup, but I think it's wool and silk and maybe even a little mohair. I'm not positive. In my defense, this is a Noro pattern that was made for this yarn. I saw the pattern first and I went, oh, that pattern is gorgeous. I must knit that. And I really loved, because they used this color, really loved how it self-striped and how it looked. And oh, I fell in love with the whole package. So I tracked down, Letha at that time did not carry a Kari. I wound up ordering this from the Hot Springs Fiber Company down in Hot Springs, and they shipped it to me. And oh, just beautiful. In this pattern, guys, I knit this in a week, literally 1 week. It was a super fast knit. This is again wool. Yes, it's lace. And actually, I do wear this one with nothing under it. I don't wear a tank under it. So I could probably wear that one that's the lace in the back with no tank, and it wouldn't bother me. But I love this sweater. And it is a sweater. It is not a tee. I don't care what they say. It is warm. But I love this. Absolutely love the design. I love the yarn. The yarn is so incredibly soft. I would hands down knit this again. I would knit it out of the same yarn. I would make it long sleeved. It is what it is. Now, I would not do the math to figure out the decrease, so I would just have a nice big sleeve, and I don't really love that. So I probably will never knit it again. But I would. There's nothing wrong with the pattern. Like I said in my defense, I bought the recommended yarn. I bought everything. and just didn't think. It again is wool, so it is warm even though it is lacy. It is not as warm as the ones that are not lacy. At least this does let some air in. So I can pretty much wear this all summer, except for I cannot wear it late July and August. I can wear it up through about the middle of July and get away with wearing this because it does let some airflow. And I'm not sure who the designer was for this. This was out of a Noro book, so I will find the designer's name and put it down here. But just absolutely a beautiful pattern. Now, another one made out of, again, one of my favorite yarns. I've already told y'all, I love, 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 love Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. This is the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. This is the Moonset Tee by Ozetta. Great pattern. Very fiddly up here until you actually get it joined down here. And the joining part, I think I had 3 or 4 needles going. And then the joining part, it was very fiddly. I don't care. I am going to make a pullover of this. She has a long sleeve pullover that I'm going to make holding a fingering and a mohair together. I probably won't do it in this color, even though I have mohair and fingering weight yarn in this color that I could do it. I'm probably going to do it like in a Bordeaux, a burgundy wine color. I might do it out of this. Well, you can't see it because it's off screen, but here's the mohair for it. I might do it out of this. I haven't completely decided yet. But what I will say is I would knit this over and over again, and I may knit myself another tee as well, but I would change a couple of things. I would make it longer. I don't love I-cord, but I can live with that. So I probably would not do ribbing. I would probably do I-cords. Although I do really like this ribbing up here, so maybe I would put some ribbing. I would for sure lengthen it. It's a little short for my taste, and I would knit a smaller size. Again, I knit it too large, and it's just because I was still transitioning and was losing weight. I mean, I'm still losing weight, but I had a pretty big weight loss, and I just wasn't seeing myself appropriately. Having said that, this is one of my reached for. This, the Tolsta, and the Anker are probably the first 3 that I reach for. And then followed by that, Emmanuel Tee. That's another one that I reach for quite often. I reach for this for multiple reasons. Number one, I love a good V-neck. I love how this looks on me. I absolutely love this pattern. It is stunning. I love this color. This color. I will eventually get some of the Knitting for Olive merino and mohair. Although I don't love that mohair. Just saying. I looked at that mohair and I didn't love the color of the mohair. So I have another mohair that I might hold with it instead. But I'll probably wind up with this color in the merino. I love, 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 love this color. Love this color. And we'll probably make another top in the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in this color. That's how much I love this color. And I love this yarn. Tin Lena and Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. If I could only knit in those yarns for summer ever again, I could die happy. I would be okay. I would just do it. And if I needed to hold it double to make it thicker, I would hold it double to make it thicker. But I would, hands down, those 2 are my very, very, very favorite summer yarns. Followed by the Hobie Cotton Silk. And then I do love Lena and Belle for the DK weight. But if I had to choose, Tin Lena would win. All right. Then the very first garment I ever made for myself. I am so proud of this. I absolutely love, 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 love this pattern that I cannot remember the name of. Another one that I don't have a Ravelry project for. I know it's by Arena. I'll put all the information down here. I'm not going to try to butcher her name. But this is a bottom up. And I learned some lessons the hard way. You absolutely need to try on bottom up. I do not understand. All these podcasters are like, oh, you can't really try on a bottom up. You can absolutely try on a bottom up. It's not as easy as trying on a top down, but you can absolutely do it. In fact, I helped Ginger try one on the other day at the yarn shop. You do have to make sure, don't pull it too big on your trowel cords because you can skew it, but you do need to see. And a lot of times you can just put it on the trowel cords and you can hold it up and go, oh, that's too big. I got probably this much done before I realized how incredibly big it was and had to rip it all out and start over. So I did learn, make sure that you try it on, even though it's bottom up. This is one too that if you really look at, I had no idea about alternating skeins. And I wound up, I think that I had to get, I don't think I bought them all at the same place. I think I picked them up different places. It doesn't matter. This is Ba La Jolla or La Jolla Ba. No, I think Ba's the brand and La Jolla is the yarn. Again, superwash merino. I do wear this more just like the one that, you know, the Noro that's got all the lace. This one is, because it's sleeveless, it is a fingering weight. It does have a little bit of lace. It's not quite as warm. But I did not know at all about alternating hand-dyed skeins. I don't do it now. This one I might have because of the fact that it was so different colored. I mean, look at that. You can see, and these were the same color. All three of these are the same color. There were 3 skeins. I love this pattern. It is the yarn that was recommended for this pattern. So again, a lot of these designers seem to live somewhere other than walking on the surface of the sun summers in the South. So they can get away with wool. I would absolutely make this again. I would probably make this again using tin lena. I think it'd be beautiful in tin lena, and maybe I'll do that this summer or next. Because now that I'm saying that, I think this would be beautiful in a tin lena, or maybe a trio, in a Sayer trio. But I think this would be beautiful in a tin lena, and so I might have to do that. I probably will knit this one again. And as a first garment, it did not dissuade me from making more of them. I didn't get really heavy into them because I did think, gosh, that was a lot of work. Maybe I shouldn't started with a fingering weight yarn with lace as my very first garment and a bottom up at that. But and that was the garment for me. I had made baby garments before. But man, it is beautiful. And now, of course, I have just taken to garments and run. All right, next up is the Summer Sorrel by Wool and Pine. And this is the fingering weight version, the t-shirt version. I love the pattern. I would absolutely make this again. I would not make it in a superwash merino cashmere blend, which is what this is. It's merino, cashmere, and silk, I believe. It is scrumptious. The color is gorgeous. And this is a hand dyed by Letha yarn, and I've actually got it's wrong side out. I was wondering why the yoke wasn't popping. There you go. You can see it better. I love this yarn. It is absolutely beautiful. It is scrumptious. It's hand dyed by Letha. It's sweet skeins. Love, 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 love this yarn. Soft, silky. We'll make more things out of it. Long sleeved, not short sleeved. It's just a bad choice for a short sleeve sweater. It does peel just like any other superwash merino. And I put this through the dryer, so it's actually peeling more than it normally would. But I would absolutely make this again. I have made it long sleeve version as well, holding fingering with mohair, and I am planning to do another holding fingering with mohair, and I may or may not make a summer one again. We'll see. I don't know if one is enough or if I feel like that I need another one. If I did, though, I would probably use like cotton merino to make another one. All right. And yet another, let me tell you, I learned my lesson the hard way multiple times because I didn't realize until the dead of summer, and I'm going, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? I made yet another beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pattern and design out of superwash merino. And this one is the Kindred Tee by Brianna Arlene. Absolutely stunning design. Was an easy knit. It comes with a modification to make long sleeves. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful knit. Much, much easier than it looks because these are not actually baubles. I don't remember how I did them, but I know that they went really quick. Beautiful yarn. This is Jim's Luxe Fibers, and they are out of Mississippi. They are at a lot of the Midwestern fiber festivals. So like I saw them at YarnCon. I don't know if they made it to Flock or any of the like Rhinebecky kind. They have not been at any of the Arkansas ones yet. But they are beautiful. You can also order online. They have a yarn shop. I think it's called Agape. But it is absolutely beautiful yarn. I do really, really like it. But it again, and it is DK weight, it again is just too warm. Way too warm to wear in the dead of summer. So it's another one I wear in the fall and the spring. I love this. I most likely will knit it again. I just need to find some DK weight yarn that I feel like goes well with a... Actually, I don't. I think probably what I will do is I will knit another one. I will use a DK wool and I will knit it long sleeved. And then I'll have a summer and a winter one because it is absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And didn't have any problems with the pattern. Now, next up. Pattern, check. I like the pattern. I've knit 2 of them. I have another one on my needles. And it is the Ranunculus by Midori Hiroshi. Love the pattern. I actually knit 2 of these back to back. I knit these to go on the cruise that I was going on with Teresa to the Bahamas. Or not the Bahamas, to Bermuda. And I knit 2 of them. This color right here, I love the color of this yarn. I mean, y'all know my love of cobalt blue. Absolutely beautiful. And I knit this one where I did not make sleeves. I just did an I-cord on it. And this one, is that right? Or I just bound off. I don't remember. Anyway, no sleeves. This one is the same yarn. I do like this pink, but this is not my favorite pink, and it's not the pink that I think looks best on me, so it's not my favorite. But again, another ranunculus. I have the sleeves. This is way too tight right here. I bound this off way, way too tight. Here's my problem with these, and I never wear them. I hate this yarn. I don't say that very often about yarn. I love the color of this yarn. Like, I would make so many things out of this yarn if I liked this yarn. And I don't know if I got a defective batch of the yarn. I bought all of this at the same yarn store, so I don't know if there was something going on, like that batch of yarn was a problem, because this does not feel anything like this yarn when I feel it at Ozark Knitting Company. This is Kelbourne Woolens Mojave, and it's a cotton linen blend. When I feel of the garments that Melissa from Ozark Knitting Company has made, they do not feel anywhere near this. This is not soft. It has not softened up. It is rustic. I have washed and dried this multiple times. I have tried everything to get this to soften up. I hate this yarn. I hate this yarn. So what I will say, if anybody has connections with Kelbourne Woolens, if they'd like to send me a t-shirt quantity of Mojave to try again, I would happily take it. I just, at this point, have not been able to bring myself to buy any more of this yarn because I am so afraid that it is going to turn out just like this. Even though, when I feel of the ones at Ozark Knitting Company, their finished garments, they are soft and supple like I would expect a cotton linen to be. If you have a different experience with this yarn than I do, please drop it in the comments. Encourage me, because I would really love to make another garment out of this cobalt blue because it is so beautiful and I want a sweater. Now, another thing that I did wrong, I used the recommended US 10 needles on this, and this has nothing to do with the yarn, but you can see it's pretty see-through. I would remake this and make a larger size, but use smaller needles and use the recommended needle size for the yarn if I ever made it out of this yarn again. I would love to use this yarn again, but like I said, I just cannot bring myself to spend the money to get another t-shirt quantity of this because I just know it's going to turn out the same, and no matter how much I love the color, I just do not reach for these. I do not wear them. I am going to force myself to wear this one again because I want to try. I really do love it. I love the pattern. I love the color. And I'm going to wash them again. I've washed them. I've dried them. I've washed them. I've laid them flat to dry. I've tried every combination under the sun of washing and drying to try to get them to soften up, and it has not worked. If you have any suggestions, please drop them in the comments. It is what it is. I would not knit in this color again. It's fine. It's fine, but it's not my favorite pink. I like a much brighter pink, more saturated, or a really light baby pink. This is okay. This color. If I could figure out the problems with the yarn, I'd probably buy multiple t-shirt quantities and have multiples in this color because I love that color. That ranks right up there with pink for me. As you can tell. Haha. Now, I am very disappointed in the fact that this color blue only came in the tick Lena and did not come in the regular Lena or the tin Lena. Because if they made that, I would absolutely have those in t-shirt quantities as well. This is the Salty Days by Veronica Lindbergh. Love the pattern. I have another one in white that is long sleeve. This is meant to be a long sleeve shirt. I turned it into a sleeveless top for summer. I made multiple mistakes. Number one was knitting it out of tick Lena that is heavy as all get out. Now it does fit nice. But because it is the tick Lena is considered a bulky weight yarn, it is heavy enough that it's warm. Will not be able to wear it in the dead of summer when I would want to wear a sleeveless top. But I do think it's beautiful. I probably will not be unraveling it. I don't know if I will try to make another summer weight one. Maybe I will, and maybe I'll try it with just regular Lena. Or maybe I'll try to make a fingering weight one in tin Lena. But I love this pattern enough. I have another one planned to hold with heavy merino by Knitting for Olive and mohair to make a pink version. Love it, but probably won't wear it a whole lot. And eventually it will probably go in the I will give it away pile. So, the pattern's great. The yarn, not so much. I completely understand why Sandus Garn discontinued tick Lena. Now, I've used it to make a bag. It was perfect for a bag. Not so perfect for a summer garment. All right, and then last but not least, which I have to say I'm very proud that this is going to be a little bit under an hour. This is the Petal Wrap Tee, and this is by Valentina Knits, Valentina Bogdanova. Love the pattern. Have made another one of these because I was knitting on this at my great aunt's house, and she asked me if I would knit her one because she liked the pattern so much. And of course I said yes. Now, I love this pattern, and I'm trying to look. I think that this is inside out as well. I think this is a reverse stockinette. Yep, you can guess it for sure is. You can see now the yoke details. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pattern. Maybe the yarn choice wasn't quite so good. If it only striped, kind of pulled down here, it wouldn't be so bad, but I think it tracks from the yoke design. This is another superwash merino, and this is a superwash merino silk blend because it is a red door fibers. I just made a bad yarn choice. The other one that I knitted for my great aunt, and I'll put a picture up here of her, was in a solid red, and it looks better. I like it much better. I probably will not knit another one for myself just because Valentina is another one of those designers that I have so many of her designs on my in my queue, and a lot of them do have this kind of yoke design, that I will just make another one of the designs and I will continue on. So beautiful pattern, beautiful, beautiful yarn, but wrong yarn choice for this because it is short sleeved. All right, guys, and with that, I have shown y'all every summer knit that I have ever knit and have given you my opinion. Hope this helped you to discover some new designers or some new patterns, and let me know what you think if you would knit any of these. All right, until my regular episode, I'll see you later.